Shalom. I want to start out by giving all honor, all glory, all praise to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rukaha, Kwadash. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, and double honors to the elders, prophets, and teachers who rule well and taught us this 100% true. Now I'll be going again into this comment. Right, somebody replied to me. Now I said on this woman's page when I came across it, Satan didn't rebel. That's a false doctrine. What scripture proves that the spiritual being Satan rebelled. And I can show you multiple scriptures that prove angels can't sin against the Most High. And the sixth blessed dude, which is a dude that I thought was being sincere in the scriptures, man, being sincere and humble, right? He replied, that goes against 2 Peter 2:4, Jude 1:6, and even Satan's will is referred to in 2 Timothy 2:26. And all angels biblically have a will as well, unless you're using Jewish doctrine. I don't know what he means by that, but no one has their own free will, not even you. So I don't know where you're getting this shit from. I don't know where you're pulling it out, but we're gonna address 2 Peter 2:4 and Jude 1:6 together because they're basically saying the same thing. Right? We can grab that. 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 4, for if God spared not, or if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, because but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Right? And then you got Jude 1:6, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains of darkness unto the judgment of the great day. Right? Now, those chains of darkness, right? If you understand scripture, those chains of darkness are going into this flesh, right? The flesh. That's the chains of darkness, man. And if he spared not the angels that sin, first of all, angels cannot sin. And we can address that. First, let's get what an angel is. You know what? Let's prove that the spiritual beings can't sin. And then we're gonna go into what an angel is, right? Let me grab my first precept. Right, the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 39, verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of their destruction, they pour out their force to appease the wrath of of him that made them. Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is, and when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. You see that? This is going into angels on the left-hand side, spirits created for vengeance, man. These angels shall not transgress his word. You understand that? That's plainly written, man. Let's get another one, because that's not going to be enough. Right? Lock. A second. Right? Trying to figure out which one I want. I grabbed the Ecclesiasticus chapter 18, right? Who governed the world with the palm of his hand, and all things, man, obey his will. You hear that? For he is the king of all, but his power dividing holy things among them from profane. You see that? All things obey his will. That includes the angels, my dude. All things obey his will. Okay? They can go into the 3 O's, man. Right? The 3 O's. It's locked. Let me make sure I send it this. The 3 O's, which go into what? Omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresent. Omnipotence, God is all powerful, meaning he has the ability to do anything that is logically possible. Really goes into him having power over everything as well. Right? The attribute means God is all powerful and capable of doing anything. Nothing is outside of his control, man. That's what omnipotent goes into. Nothing's outside of his control. You understand that? Right? And why is nothing out of control? He's omniscience, man. The attribute means God possesses all knowledge and is aware of everything. You don't think that if he was aware that angels were going to go off, he would have just not created them? Come on, man. Come on. You don't give Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua any credit. So who is Second Peter talking about then? What is it talking about? Right? What's Second Peter? For if God spared not the angels that sin, what is angels going to? Right? Blue letter, angels, angelos or angelos.
Strong's G32, angelos. Angelos.
Right? Angelos, which means a messenger, envoy, one who is sent, an angel, a messenger from the Most High. That's what it's going into. A messenger, envoy, one who is sent. That can be an angel, not just the heavenly beings, but this would be your earthly angel. What is proof of that? Was not Paul called an angel? Let's grab that. Paul was called an angel, was he not? Right? And Salaki, I don't think I centered that when I went into that etymology. My mistake. But I read it just as is, man. You can go and look at it yourself. Go look at angelos or angelos. Galatians chapter 4, verse 14. And my temptation, which is in my flesh, ye despise not, nor reject it, but received me as an angel of the Most High, even as Hamashiach Yahushai. You see that? Paul said he was received as an angel of the Most High because he's a messenger from the Most High. That's all angel means. Is going into is messenger. So, for if God spared not the angels that sinned, we just proved that the angels, the heavenly beings, the celestial angels, cannot sin. You gotta understand that there's celestial and there's terrestrial. There's a difference between the celestial and terrestrial. You understand? Just like there's celestial angels, there's also terrestrial angels. You understand? So the only ones that can sin, which is what is sin? The transgression of the law. If angels were in the presence of Yahweh and they sinned, they wouldn't be able to stand in his presence. They would be automatically destroyed. It's that simple. Right? And to prove it even further, because a lot of y'all like to say, oh, Satan was cast out. He was cast out. Then who invited him back in Job? Who invited him back, man? Now there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to be present to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came along also among them. Who invited Satan back, bro? Who invited this dude? But you guys don't understand that, man. You don't do your due diligence. And I thought you were sincere, man, but you still holding on to this fucking this Christian doctrine BS, man. That goes against everything. And Jude is saying the same thing, man. But it goes into a little bit deeper. And the angels which kept not their first estate. What's the first estate, man? Now we know those angels. Watch, let's prove this too, right? Angels. Let me make sure I center this so you don't think I'm lying, man. Right? Recenter this. Right? Angels. See this? See that? Angelos. G32. Right?
Strong's G32, angelos. Angelos.
Angelos. Slaki, I keep saying it wrong. But a messenger, envoy, one who is sent, an angel, a messenger from the Most High, right? So this can also be what Paul called himself. Like I said, Paul called himself an angel. So your pastors, your apostles, they could be angels, man. Your prophets, they're angels. Okay? That's why the scripture says, hey, be careful not to entertain strangers, because some have entertained angels unaware. That's double fold, man. So you could be dealing with an apostle or an elder or someone who Yahweh put in a position to be a prophet, or you could be dealing with a literal angel, a celestial angel, one who is on earth in the form of a man. That's taking the form of a man. Okay? So Jude, those angels still could be going the same thing, still could be a prophet, or is this in this context, it's talking about men. And the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. Those chains of darkness is flesh, right? Flesh isn't everlasting, right? Or Slakia. This is talking about flesh. Change of darkness is flesh. Okay. Now it says angels were kept not their first estate. What's that first estate? Did you not know that Adam was actually immortal when he was made, man? That's the first estate right there. Let's grab that. Where is it at, man? Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 23. For the Most High created man to be immortal and made him in the image of his own eternity. Adam was made immortal. You understand? But what happened? He fell. Hello. That's why they talk about the fallen angels. The fallen angels is just talking about, Adam and his lineage, his chosen lineage after him, man. They fell. Let's prove it. Because they kept not their what? Their first estate. What am I looking for, man? Kept not their first estates. Lock. Right? Second Ezra chapter 7, verse 48. O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, man. These are your fallen angels. But we all that come of thee, they have not fallen alone. Okay? So what happened? He fell from what? His first estate. He lost that immortality. Doesn't the scripture say, though ye are gods, but you shall die like men? That's what this is going into, man, because we were supposed to be immortal. But through the power of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, right? When Yahweh Shai returns, we will be given those immortal bodies, man. We'll be immortal again. Okay? Now, go back to Jude. That which kept not their first estate, but left their habitation, he hath reserved an everlasting chain of darkness unto the judgment of the great day, which is what? The return of Yahweh Shai, right? Which when we will receive those new everlasting bodies. So these angels that fell, these angels that sinned, they were basically the chosen line, man. These were not literal celestial beings because they can't sin. And the evil beings, they're controlled by Yahweh. So the evil angels and the good angels are all controlled by Yahweh. He controls the evil and the good. He's omnipotent, man. He's all powerful. He controls everything. This is his script. He can do whatever he wants. Okay? Now I was about to grab something else. What did he say? 2 Timothy. Let's grab that. Right? Because he said 2 Timothy. He says 2 Peter and Jude 1 and 6. We addressed both of those. Now let's get that 2 Peter, right? 2 Timothy, Salak. I keep saying 2 Peter, 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 26. And that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. Now he's saying that this is the angel, right? But we know that the devil, right, is going into a man. The devil is a man, right? How do we prove that? Let's go into the word devil. Let me recenter. Go into the word devil. Right here. See that? Devil. And you get Diablos, G1228. Right?
Strong's G 1228. Diabolos. Diabolos.
Right? It says prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely. The calumniator, right? False accuser, slanderer. Who's guilty of this, man? In the scriptures, going precept upon precept. Who is guilty of slander? Let's grab it. Let me grab it. All right. Now we got what? The book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 20. Let me recenter. I'm gonna go back some verses. Actually, I think I'm gonna start a little bit higher. Yeah, start at verse 16. Verse 16. But unto the wicked, who is the wicked? Esau, Edom, right? Also known as what? The border of wickedness. That's how we know who the wicked is. Power saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee? When thou sawest a thief, then thou contendest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, right? Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. So who is that guilty? So who is that Second Timothy talking about? Talking about Esau, Edom, man. You understand that? Going into Esau, Edom. It's not going into the spiritual being, Satan. You have to go into your words, man, so you know who it's talking about, or you're just going to look silly in your comments talking about angels can sin against Yahweh, man. How can angels sin against someone who's all powerful? How can angels sin against someone who created them? That does not make sense. That makes zero fucking sense, man. And on top of that, they're afraid of him. They're afraid of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Let's get that. Right? Second Ezra's. Read, make sure I'm center. Yeah, kind of. Second Ezra chapter 8, verse 21, whose throne is inestimable, right? Whose glory may not be comprehended, before whom the host of the angels stand with trembling. You think beings that are trembling are gonna go against Yahweh? They're afraid of him. They're terrified, man. He controls the evil angels and the good angels. How do we know this? Let's prove it. Let's end it off with the book of Psalms, chapter 78, right? Book of Psalms, chapter 78, verse 49. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels among them. You see that? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua controls the evil angels as just as much as he controls the good angels. He controls the good and the evil, both sides. He's a power of balance. He is an almighty power, man. He's controlling everything. Nothing's outside of his control. This is his script. Some of you, hey, if you receive it, you receive it. If not, oh well. I don't even care at this point. Because y'all Jake is just going off constantly, man, with your false doctrines. Hey, and that's all I got for you, Aki. And with that, shalom.